This television program, AEW from December 9th, opened with guess who? The middle-aged Bucks in their long-awaited grudge match with Evans and Angelico. And, of course, there was the obligatory pre-tape of backstage the Bucks talking bad, or pie-face Buck, old Buck Hogan, being a badass while balding Buck stood there and chewed gum because he was all out of ass-kicking. There was basically, this match was set up because this team who's never been on their fucking television show but like once suddenly came out last week, had a fucking match, jumped these guys, and now boom, they're on TV with the champions. And they came to the ring and it was a 4-way jump start and a 4-way to the floor, and the heels huddled up to catch the guys when they dove, and it was every no talent ever having every indie match ever. As I said, a team that's never even on TV, much less one on TV, out of nowhere jumps the champions in the back, attacks them in the back. Now has a long TV match where they do everything ever seen in a ring, and the Bucks win. This is what their deal is. And so I fast forwarded this because it'll look the same thing as the same as every other Young Bucks match, and it was set up the same way. Did I miss something?
Well, you're a little wrong. It wasn't a long match where they did everything. It was a 13-minute match where they did everything. They threw everything in there, and they kicked out of everything. And like you said, it was every Bucks match. And there were several points where there were guys just standing around waiting for someone to jump on them. I'm not a big fan of their style. I'm sure if you are, you probably love this match, but it was just nonstop. You know, some may call them spot monkeys, but it was just nonstop spots, kicking out of everything.
I really think, it's been proven with scientific testing that monkeys are intelligent and can be trained. So I think it's really disrespectful and inaccurate to call them spot monkeys, because these guys have shown that they are not that smart and can't be trained.
Now, with this match, and I got to say, I was a little disappointed we didn't get the passionless Angelico dancing this week. After I talked about how much I got a kick out of it, he didn't do it because they rushed through the match. There was no entrance for these guys.
Yeah, they had to jump start it real quick.
So this ties into something I said last week, where I said it seems like after every match they have to do something. There's some angle after every single match. And boy, did they kick that up a notch this week. So after this match, what was their name? The Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed.
Who we just met last week. They were sitting at ringside. They jumped the rail and did nothing because SCU was suddenly the protectors of the Young Bucks. Probably because the Young Bucks gave them jobs. They scared them off. But it began a trend throughout the night where, NXT, shit takes forever. And it just happens. Here, everything happens, and there's an angle, and let's rush to the back. There's something else happening, another angle. And then let's get back to the match. A million things, everyone kicks out everything, and boom, there's an angle.
And I think also you're in bigger trouble if you're in NXT if you're in the back.
Yes.
Whereas
unless you're a female.
Unless you're a female. But if you're in AEW and you win a match, you're fucked because they're going to kick your ass immediately afterwards.
It's every match. I mean, I said it last week, and going into this week, I paid attention to it. Let's see if they do it. It's every single match. Every single segment, they hotshot. Every single segment has someone on the other side of the rail wanting to get involved or someone running in to attack someone. It's every match. This is bad booking.
Well, that's because I can hear the mark now. I can hear the mark coming out of people when they say, well, that's because everything keeps moving and everything ties in and everybody's always having a confrontation and this is good television. No, it's fucking noise and nobody remembers because it's all the same. But that's the way that they convince themselves. That's the way that the amateur bookers and amateur wrestling fans and armchair critics say that that's supposed to be done because they've listened to shit stains fucking shoot interviews. So they've learned from the best. Anyway.
I will say, and in no way am I comparing Tony Khan to Vince Russo, but this felt like that frenetic energy of the Crash TV era. Just nonstop things happening to the point where who cares?
It wasn't just the Crash TV era. Remember, he helped Impact go from 1.5 million viewers a week to what do they got now? 250,000 with a hot shot. But remember that 4-scene 32-man brawl to lead us into the top of the second hour that he did one time down there. Anyway, Darby Allin is now seeing a psychiatrist, and boy, does this shit write itself. Except, did you see the psychiatrist? He looked like one of Donald Trump's doctors. The psychiatrist looked like he needed to be analyzed. You couldn't take this serious.
Well, it was on a soundstage. Of course you couldn't take it seriously.
I was. That's why I stopped myself. You couldn't take this seriously. And I was like, well, what the fuck? They're shooting this for television like it's a real goddamn analysis session. But he showed, the doctor, Dr. Vinny Boom Bots, is showing Darby ink blots, pictures, sketches, whatever it's supposed to be. What do you see? And of course, he sees all the people he's mad at. However, we finally, in all these things, what have I been saying? We never hear Darby Allin speak. We don't hear his voice. We don't hear what he sounds like, what he talks like, what he thinks, what his viewpoint is. He's just mute all the time in these things. So finally, we hear him talk, and he read a spooky statement that I'm sure he had written in somewhat of a monotone voice, in a voiceover, and still didn't actually just speak. And so it was obviously phony from the start, but kind of contrived and not as exciting as, but why can this guy not be exciting? Why does he have to be moping around all the time like he's ready to cut his fucking throat? Why is he so miserable? Do I want to like a miserable person? I'm a miserable person. Even I'm fun-loving every once in a while. I'll fucking tell a ball-shaven joke. He never smiles. He never speaks. He's miserable all the time, and all he wants to do is hurt himself. Why do I want to be around this guy at this point? He's got tons of fucking charisma and athletic ability, but why is anybody supposed to fucking like him? Help me.
I don't have an answer for that. Was the MJF promo before or after this?
It's after.
Okay.